Are you thinking of moving to Louisville, Kentucky in 2025? Well, before you pack your bags, you're going to want to watch this video because in today's video, I'm going to give you the real pros and cons of living in Louisville, Kentucky in 2025. My hope is that by the end of this video, you'll know if Louisville, Kentucky is the right place for you. I'm Katie Skeen, a local realtor here in Louisville, Kentucky, and let's get right into it. If you've watched any of my other pros and cons videos from previous years, I'm actually going to highlight a few different things in this video. The first pro I want to highlight in this video is that we have a thriving arts and culture scene. You might be surprised to hear that this city actually has an amazing arts and culture scene. If you're interested in art, you're definitely going to want to check out the Speed Art Museum as well as the 21C Hotel Museum. This is such a cool thing that you can go stay in a hotel downtown and right there they have this art museum within their hotel. If you love music and the performing arts, then you'll be happy to hear that we have the Louisville Orchestra as well as the Louisville Ballet. We also have so many small little music venues sprinkled throughout the city. One that I think you definitely should check out is Zanzibar. They bring in a lot of cool local bands and even regionally they bring people in and it's just a great gathering place. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth. A lot of times those things are past my bedtime, but I know so many people in the city enjoy going there. We have a lot of live music festivals here in Louisville as well. Of course, we have Bourbon and Beyond and Louder Than Life that happened in September. And then unfortunately, Forecastle was paused back in 2023, but I've heard rumors that it's coming back in 2025. I'm not able to confirm that. So if you know anything about Forecastle coming back to Louisville in 2025, please comment below because I'm having trouble confirming that information. We have several art festivals and cultural festivals that happen throughout the year. There's a lot of things leading up those 2 weeks to the Kentucky Derby. So we have the whole Kentucky Derby Festival and all of the things that go along with that. Of course, another one that draws a lot of vendors from this area would be the St. James Art Fair. This happens within Old Louisville on St. James Court. There's a lot of local and regional vendors that bring their art to sell there. And then lastly, we have a lot of public and street art. I think this is a really neat thing about our city. But if you check out New Lou, the Highlands, Germantown, even in Shelby Park, there's a lot of this street art that happens on the buildings. A lot of people expressing their creativity through the art that we see on our buildings in the city. Before we get into our next pro, I want to pause and tell you what a privilege it is for me to make these videos for you. I'm so glad you found them helpful in your journey in moving to Louisville, but I do want to tell you about something really helpful that I want to make sure you check out. Right down in the description below, there is a link to my relocation roadmap. If you're thinking about making a move to Louisville in 2025 or 2026, I want you to pause the video and I want you to download the relocation roadmap right now. Sometimes it feels completely overwhelming to figure out what steps you need to take to actually make the move to Louisville, but this roadmap lays out a simple step-by-step process of what it will take for you to actually make the move to Louisville, Kentucky. So go ahead and down that relocation roadmap. It's a completely free resource. I made it because I have a heart and desire to help you make the move easier. All right, let's get back to the next pro. The next pro is that we have a growing job market. We have a lot of jobs in healthcare, tech, and logistics located right here in Louisville, Kentucky. Of course, many of you know that UPS Worldport is here, one of those locations. And so we're just a hub for a lot of shipments and companies moving things in and out of this region. As of June 2024, the unemployment rate in Louisville was 4.4%. This actually is really close to our national unemployment rate, which is 4.1%. The unemployment rate has actually decreased quite a bit since its peak in 2010, where it was 11.2%. We've seen a lot of job growth in our area in the last 5 years. In 2020, we added 14,000 jobs. In 2022 and 23, we added 9,200 jobs. And in 2024, they expected to add approximately 8,000 more jobs here in the city of Louisville. As these jobs are added and our job opportunities continue to grow, I think we'll see the unemployment rate come down even more. Some of the major employers here in Louisville, Kentucky include the following: UPS, Ford Motor Company, GE, Humana, Norton Healthcare, University of Louisville, Yum Brands, and Brown-Forman. The next pro is that we have a lot of access to nature and outdoor activities. Now, if any of you have watched my Kentucky pros and cons video, people get so frustrated that I say there's not a lot of outdoor recreation opportunities. Don't be haters, okay? I was just trying to say it's not the same as living in the Colorado Rockies. But what we do have here is actually fantastic. Louisville is known for its abundant green spaces. We see this even with our very own Cherokee Park. It is a large park located right within the city. It has a 2-mile loop that goes around it. It has hiking and biking and trails and playgrounds and splash grounds for kids. There's a golf course located right next to there, and that is part of the Olmsted Parks that we have here in Louisville. There's quite a few of those. Definitely check out those. And then we actually have Jefferson Memorial Forest, which is one of the largest urban forests in the United States. One of my favorite parks is actually right on the river, and it is where the Big Four Bridge goes across to Indiana. I know that's not necessarily nature, but you do get to see the river. I mean, nature as in green space, okay? You're definitely in a city environment, but you're getting to walk across the river, you're being outside, you're enjoying the weather, and that's a really fun park to visit as well. Now, within a very short driving distance to Louisville, of course, is Mammoth Cave. Mammoth Cave is actually the longest cave system in the world. I actually, after living here for 13 years, visited it for the first time with my family this past year, and it was really incredible to take the cave tour. So I would really encourage you, if you're in that area of Kentucky, to stop by. Even if it's just for one of the shorter tours, I think it's definitely worth it to have the opportunity to see that. Of course, you're not that far of a drive from Red River Gorge, so if you like hiking, that is a beautiful place to explore. Living in Louisville is not all pros, okay? There are several cons that I want to mention to you. The first is that we do have extreme weather here. Now, lots of places have extreme weather. We had quite a surprising extreme weather event just a few weeks ago. At the beginning of January of 2025, we had some extreme snow that really shut down our city for at least a week, and we're still kind of feeling the repercussions of it here 3 or 4 weeks later. But over a 24-hour period, we got a total of 10.5 inches of snow. I know that this was setting all sorts of records for our city. It's the most snow that I've ever seen since I've lived here. It actually canceled the public schools and actually the Catholic schools too for the entire first week that they were supposed to be back after winter break. Our city is not set up to handle that amount of snow. They did the absolute best they could to shovel and plow the streets to get them salted, but many of the back roads were just not safe at all to travel on. So we do have the occasional snow here in Louisville, but more frequently than snow, we actually have torrential rains and tornadoes. Now we see a ton of rain in the spring, which leads to quite a few flash flooding events. I know I've had some clients who are very concerned about flood zones. So what we will always do is we'll check the listing to see whether it's in a flood zone. And if it is, you are going to have to carry that additional flood insurance if you're dealing with a lender. And of course, it's just wise to carry that even if you own your house outright as well. You're in a flood zone and getting flood insurance for a reason. Now, even if you're not in a flood zone, there is a possibility that you are going to get water in your basement. We have a lot of that in this area. We deal with that through basement waterproofing, and we have a lot of great basement waterproofing companies here in the area. So if you're not used to basements and if you're not used to flash flooding, it's something we are used to here, and there are ways to definitely deal with that and overcome that. Of course, we are prone to tornadoes as well in this area, and we've seen some really horrible devastation in the state of Kentucky over the last few years. There was actually a state of emergency declared in our state last year in 2024 because of some terrible tornadoes that came through the area. This is why I love basements. I always want to have a basement to go to during a tornado, but of course, if you don't have a basement, you're going to get to that interior room of your house. A lot of times that is a closet under your stairs. So we do have this extreme weather, and you need to keep that in mind when you're coming to Kentucky. Before I share the next con with you, I do want to share with you that I help people like you relocate to Louisville, Kentucky every single day. So whether you're moving in 2025 or 2026, I want you to take a moment and go ahead and reach out to me. It would be my privilege to help you answer any questions that you might have about making the move to Louisville. So I'm going to put my contact information right here on the screen. Just send me a quick text and let me know you're thinking about moving to Louisville. We'll get a Zoom call set up and I'll help answer any questions that you have about relocating to our area. I remember what it was like 13 years ago to move here. I had so many questions about neighborhoods and schools and what it's like to live there that I really wish I would have had a person kind of helping me through that process. So don't you be like me and not have anyone helping you. Go ahead and reach out to me. I'm happy to get you connected with the right resources and tools to be able to make the move to Louisville. Now, our next con is that we have very limited public transportation. If you're a person who's used to relying heavily on public transportation, it's going to be challenging here within Louisville. TARC is our public bus system here, and although they have 16 million riders every single year, they only cover 225 square miles within the metro area. Our city has a transit score of 27 out of 100, which is telling us that this is not a great place for public transportation. You are more than likely going to need a car if you want to live here in Louisville to be able to get around the city. Of course, it's not a deal breaker if you don't, but you might experience a lot of frustration because of the unreliable bus routes and the timing of those routes and even the location of the stops. You might be able to get in the general area, but you might be walking miles even to get to your destination. There are more stops in downtown, of course, but it's just not enough to be able to get around to the suburbs in our city. I hope you've enjoyed this video about the pros and cons of living in Louisville, Kentucky in 2025. Again, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Here's my contact information. It would really be my honor and my privilege to have the opportunity to speak with you. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.